Good morning, YouTube family. I just like to say today I will be interviewing Mr. Black and we'll be talking about the gender war. So the link is for him and I'll be waiting for him to come on and here he go. Good morning, Mr. Black.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Kind of low.
I'm kind of long.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Okay. How you doing this morning?
I'm blessed. How you
How's
doing?
I'm doing all right. How's everything there in New York?
Wonderful. Wonderful. The weather's getting like in the 65, 67. So
Oh yeah.
it's beautiful here. Can't complain.
Mm, oh,
Yeah,
well,
so I want to interview you about today's topic about the gender war.
you want to interview me? All right.
Yes, we'll have a talk about the gender war.
Okay.
Okay,
Uh, mm, hold
so
on.
I give you a little time to get yourself ready,
Well, yeah.
and I want to
Uh,
thank my YouTube family for supporting me, always coming on at last minute.
yeah. Okay. I'll give a little time and saying, for them to come in, and
Okay, you can do a little talk now. I'm gonna get my little tech ready. I'm gonna be on mute, so you could introduce yourself to my people.
uh, my name is Alan Walker, Mr. Black. Uh, I'm a content creator. Where on my channel I talk about a lot of uh, modern day problems and subjects, and touch on a lot of things. I try to stay away from the politics because the politics, you understand, uh, at times really don't make sense to me. I mean, they make sense. Don't get me wrong, but like it's what politicians go through. And but yet you got to go through the politicians because if you want change, and change means changing policies. You understand? You got to be about that business. You got to have that interest. So like that's where I'm at with that. Uh, but today uh, we had promised the gender wars and like we said that we would come with that topic and like this is going to resonate as the beginning of it because I really want to get about that topic, that conversation because when I first came on YouTube, like my intent was, just to do. I love music, and I came on YouTube, in pursuit of finding, good music and old music that I know of, and like I went from one thing to the other, you dig, and next thing I know, here it is, I'm up on a channel. But while experiencing uh, the YouTube output on various topics and subjects, the one that kept on coming back to me, you understand, was what black women were saying about black men. I found kind of reprehensible because, like, they were going deep, and like we all know that, over in America, they've done a number on the black nation. They've done a number, you understand, on the black man and the black woman. Some of the things the black women were saying about the black man, and that they understand, was coming down on black men, understand, because they wasn't doing anything, they didn't have no businesses, they was a willing, they was in willing submission to uh, white supremacy and white supremacy, strong stand on the earth. And it was just, some of the things that I was saying, coming from women, it really made me, open my eyes and say, well, wait a minute, what are they saying? And these were coming from, these comments were coming from educated women. So on the opposite side, men were sent back saying some of the most reprehensible things about women, that they were bitches, schemers, no good. They walked around and saying, with this magical penis, they wanted to be in charge. They sold out to the system. You know, a lot of guys saying women was telling them that they didn't need a man and that the government was their man. And it was just back and forth, back and forth. That I was saying, every channel that I went to that uh, was supposed to have been about the black man and the black woman dating relationship, especially these dating coaches and especially these women understand that believe in divesting and all this right here. Oh man, the stuff that they were saying, and then the women understand that we're leveling up. All right,
Yes.
you know, they show no pity in terms of how deep they can go in scheming to manipulate, a man, to abuse a man, to corner a man to get what they want. And some of this was despicable in my eyes because as a man, dealing in my own world, I never came across this. I never came across, a woman, you understand, going against a man, talking over a man, uh, trying to feminize a man, or a man, you understand, we're trying to feminize a man, you understand, with the bitch word and the gay word, the fag word, whatever. And like, I heard man say, some of the most demeaning things about women. The only thing that she's good for, you understand, is to stick his, his penis down her throat. And she swallowed, you understand, sperm. That, they can't be trusted. That they are there to be used and manipulated and basically used and not be counted on anything else. And like, then there's the blaming game because you got the single parent, mothers and they're raised in broken families. And the single parent mothers are saying that the reason families are broken is because the fathers ain't there. And like they said that they had to do what they had to do, to take care of the family. They had to, go to the system and do what they've done. You dig about submitting to the system. But uh, the original, you understand, title of this gender war thing, and me and Sheila, uh,
Yes.
uh, uh, we had originally named it "Why the Black Man and the Black Woman are So Bitter Toward Each Other." Okay, so my take on the gender war is, you understand, I want to get, to the nitty gritty. I want to get to the dynamic of it. I want to get to the blueprint. I really want to see, you understand, why the black man and the black woman are so bitter toward each other. Why do you have educated men and women who go to the lowest of the lowest, to put each other down and who have the audacity to think that the black nation can still survive with the two of them being departed and divided from each other? And this is going to be a painful process. This is going to be Um, looking and examining the narratives, this is going to be, you understand, looking at, some of the traumas you dig that have been uh, put down by both men and women. To
This,
me,
mm,
to me, all this is about behavior. To me, when we're dealing with behavior, we're talking about the creation of products of cause and effect, action and consequences. Okay, Sheila, you got it.
yes. And I would like to say too that this is going to take a process. And see, a lot of us don't understand that this goes for decades and centuries with us. Even as women, um, we had to take care of other people's household, take care of our household, and working and not getting sleep. Take care of other people's kids and our kids too. And then also when they took the males out of our household, you know. So that was a trauma that never, um, I hear like feedback. Um,
Oh, do you? Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to control that.
yeah,
Okay.
so go back with a lot on our behalf, but either here or there, it do come to the point that we are made different, and we know women, we are really emotional beings, you know. We know y'all are the protectors and the providers, and we are nurturers. So we get in our feelings to a certain extent, and when we don't understand, communication is a must. We was raised to be pampered. We was raised for everything for us to be so pretty, the
Wait,
way
wait. Oh,
you do.
are you talking about the woman?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm talking about the woman. So, for the men to also to provide for us, even though we have our own, just sit there, just look pretty, don't talk much. Make sure the house is clean. Make sure you provide for your husband, your kids, and stuff. So this been going on for a generation. The boomers, the sounds generation. So I think the end of the '70s, the Black Panther, the civil rights, the Jim Crow, all that really gave us a voice, an input on how we really feel about a female and about what's going on in our nation. So somehow down the line, it got down to that I don't know where the crossroads went, that we got lost in the sauce that a woman is equal to a man, not all but some. And we had to realize even from the beginning, we was made for a man. And then we go, I'm here and there, we going into um people back then, I'm going back then now, they had bullet shop marriage. They was married at a young age, they had kids at a young age, but still they had that skin on morals. Now somewhere down the line, they lost the standards and the morals. They lost the American dream. They lost the self, and they have not taught it down to their kids. So now this is the side effect from not having our standards and morals, and not letting our men be the head of the household. I'm just I just put that in a little, instead of going into it, y'all can read between the lines. So this is the side effect. And like we know the problem, so now what is the solution here?
Well, um, I like the way that you kind of built that up. Um, and like, I could take it back to Africa, you understand, and what we had experienced there, opposed to what happened to us when we were forced to come here. Okay. Um, During slavery, we never had a true family structure. You know, we tried our best to keep a nuclear family together, but that was always compromised by what the slave master, ordered. During slavery, we know how that went. With the abuses, the rapes, you know, of all members of the family, the young girls, the boys, uh, the woman, and even the man. Coming out of slavery, we were able to create a semblance of a family structure. And we gave, good examples in certain areas across the country that we can, compete and we can thrive as a close knit family unit. What is that, Tulsa, Oklahoma? You understand where the men and women got together there and they built, a thriving city until they ran into the jealousy of the whites in that area, and they burned the city down because we were becoming too progressive. We were being successful.
Even Rosewood, Wall Street,
Okay, right.
Black Wall Street. So,
Okay. So my point is that coming from that, understanding, coming, on up the years, all right? Because now I want to reflect a little bit of history, but then I don't want to get stuck with history because, like, people get tired or bored with history, which I don't understand. But you got to give a semblance of history to understand the problems that we're dealing with now.
and that's why I had to give you a little history because the end of the day is it go
Well,
back to morals and
well,
standards.
you gave me a little history, but
Hmm.
then we want to keep it accurate too, okay? Because like uh, uh, I mean, we're especially keeping it accurate today because you know something. Uh, in the days with the modern day men and women, okay, women actually feel, you understand, it ain't a man's job to protect them. It ain't a man's job to produce, okay. Men actually feel it ain't my job, you understand, to protect a woman. It ain't my job to produce, because like for what? All right. But I'm just saying that is the pervading or the prevalent attitude that's out there now. All right. But going back to understand, to us coming up to the civil rights movement or what have you, because we didn't have in voting rights, we didn't have uh, a full equality in the American system, and like a lot of our youth, especially this zillennial generation, they feel that the people and the civil rights movement actually failed them, even though they're standing on their shoulders. They're standing on the pain, the fire hoses, the dogs, the beatings with the stick, being confined in jail, being killed, and buried in locations you dig. They say that those who proceeded before them, you understand, they felt them. Now,
I want to ask you something too.
Okay, hold on. Let me just unfold this thought real quick. Now, when we got our rights, you understand, allegedly as a people, and Martin Luther King was very smart. He took that non-violent approach, you understand, because you know something, he realized that if we understand with the violent route, which Malcolm X was, hell bent on, he just said, fuck it, hey, let's rumble because, like, something, how could a man, you understand, be a man if he bend his knees? Okay? But Martin Luther King was kind of smart because, like, this system you dig, when they get a feather up their ass, they will kill anything and everything. And Martin Luther knew it. He knew, you understand, that if blacks went out there and they got to fighting head on or what have you, oh, they can, riot and they could tear up things, but what was it going to do? They was going to bring in the National Guards, then the Army, you understand, then shooting people down, then, martial law and all this right here, and then, you understand, you dig, straight control. So he had to be clever, you understand, and like, he came with the nonviolent approach. And he told the powers that be, which was Kennedy and, Johnson at the time, he said, like, look, we want you to understand, education, employment, voting rights, and respect for the black man. And Martin Luther King kept on pushing that agenda. But in this system, you got to wise up to how these people operate. Because when they get to meeting, you understand, and they get to going back and forth on their political agenda, they come up, you understand, with some of, the most bittersweet schemes that you can ever imagine. And what, they came up with behind the scenes was that, oh, they want education, we'll give education to the women. They want employment, we give unemployment, you understand, to the women. They want voting rights, okay, um, we give them voting rights. We will make sure you understand, especially with the, the Democrats. They said, we're snaring the women. That was the first time, that the black man was boxed out. The black women started getting educated. They started getting employment, buying cars, buying houses. And then, you understand, with the single parents and all that right there, you had all this other stuff that was happening. Black woman empowered, black man depowered.
I hear you. I hear you.
And like we had to deal with that trauma quietly because when you have two people, you understand, that have been under the oppressive feet of uncaring individuals, you dig, an uncaring, country, the trauma is unbelievable. When one when one get liberated, allegedly liberated, they go flaunt it in the face, you dig, of the other person who is still up under that feet, even though the one who think that they're liberated, you dig, are not really liberated. They just, got a different delusion to go by because of the, psychological conditioning and the behavioral structures that I put in place. Like I say, let's get to the dynamic of it, the pathology of it. But coming on up, we went through the crack epidemic, and now what I was just talking about for the most part was the educated woman getting her foot in the door. Now we're gonna deal with the single parent households where the men have been excluded from deliberately, you understand? And the government, told the single parent mothers, the poor ones, hey, look, you be the daddy. We'll take care of the household. We'll come in and help you, stand up and be half man and half woman. And you run that, you run the stuff. So we've seen that happen. Further isolation, you understand, from our families, further isolation, from the system. I did a video on my channel about how people make themselves obsolete and how the system makes people obsolete. You know, some people don't want to recognize it, some don't believe in it, some, feel like the system don't do it. But I see it happening every day, and I know you see it too, Sheila.
Yes.
How we've been, deliberately made obsolete. But let me move on up, you understand, to this time, and then I'm gonna give it back to you, Sheila. I'm not trying to be long-winded. I just want to build a foundation. You hear me? Uh, so we go through, that period of the '80s or what have you, and bam, we get hit by the '90s. Stella got a groove. Color Purple. All these old white influenced pictures coming out, directed slowly at the black woman, and then the white women. They come with the feminist movement. Black woman, empower yourself. Be independent. Don't take care of your home. Why should you take care of a home? You understand? Let the man serve you. Don't cook. Don't wash. Don't clean. You ain't a slave. Go out and explore the world. Have sex with whoever you want to have sex with. Stop missing the fun. Go out there and do the damn thing. And you know something? It really took off. A lot of the shows that you're seeing on TV, you know, it was always having the black woman, you understand, standing up, you dig, and raising hell, arguing, especially on hip hop, loving hip hop and all those old trash shows, you know.
I hear you.
Some women, you understand, really jumped at that hook, line, and sinker. And that's one of the first things you dig that, I hear on YouTube. Oh, we're not going back to the old ways. The hell with that. I'm putting myself, you understand, ahead of my children, ahead of the family, ahead of the black nation. I'm gonna be out there. Okay, you got it, Sheila. I think I've detailed it enough to.
Okay. Again, communication is the key. You have some who did not watch movies, who did not get caught up in the sauce.
Mm,
Work, provide for our family, and do the best we can. In church, keeping our morals, our standards, making sure we take care of our husband, making sure we take care of our kids. And meanwhile, with all this stuff going on, as being married, they had benefits for each
Okay, wait a minute.
spouse.
Wait a minute. Let me ask you a question real quick.
Hmm.
Sorry for cutting in.
Oh, go ahead.
You're right in what you're saying.
Hmm.
Okay, uh, and I've heard you say many times, understand that this is what you did for your family.
Hmm.
Okay, but outside of that, did you actually know that all this stuff was going on?
I didn't know until afterwards when I started advocating. I did to a certain extent. That's what I'm going to get at.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
come on.
Okay. But yes. So the meanwhile, as because I was working for the state or whatever, that's how I retired from.
Hmm.
So the meanwhile, I always advocate and stuff for people, and then I seen little things, and then that's when was an eye opener that how they was setting trap up for the inner city people who live in different area zones.
Okay,
And what I was trying to tell them, the meanwhile, they had they was paying for the mothers to go back to school. They was paying for brothers to take up different trades and stuff. Um, you could get your home for $1, and they give you a mortgage and help you fix it up. And all these things is going on too because the '80s was great, was awesome. But the meanwhile, it was that people were so caught up in the street life, the fast life, that the ones who was about the business, the one who was about the education, the ones who was about the family, we couldn't tell them. We couldn't tell them. We told them, but they wasn't hearing us. They
um,
wasn't hearing us. So the meanwhile, okay, yeah, by the time we go to city council meetings and stuff, by the time you take care of your family, because I didn't do social media, I just did, took care of the ones, who I know needed to take care of or whatever, needed my help or whatever. I couldn't really go to the city council meetings because my kids was young. I had to make sure my husband's dinner was ready. When he came home, he was tired. I did his feet and everything. So a lot of things I'm saying too, it go back to the individual. You have to be determined. You have to be determined. If you want to get out of the hood, you gotta be determined to get these jobs. You got to sell yourself out there. So the meanwhile, everything is not gonna come on you on your plate. Just drop on your plate and let it be easy. It was a hustle and tussle for survival. If you want that nice job, if you want that nice home, if you want to keep your family and stuff, it was a hustle and tussle. So at the end of the day, it went back to the individual.
okay. Let me go back, you understand, to what I said about the decision that the powers that be um, make. All right, and like how shrewd they are. Remember, all our women are getting educated. Okay,
Uh,
you know
uh,
the black.
but you
You
ain't
know,
understand what I was saying too when
oh
I
no
threw a
no no
little
no
wrench
no no
out there.
no.
Go
I
ahead.
understood exactly what you were saying, and like I'm trying to respond to it. All right, just let me just kind of go there a little bit. Okay, because like I say, you know something. If we gonna get to the blueprint of it, the dynamic of it, we got to cover the majority of the bases. Big, and we haven't even we hey look. We something we still trying to break through the ice. Okay, this big ass iceberg. What I was going to say was this. You're right. It's on the individual to get out there, you understand, and work hard to produce a successful lifestyle. You're right. You understand they must be determined. You're right. You understand they must be highly motivated. The black woman, you understand, is the most educated woman you dig on this planet. Well, some other cultures can compete,
I
but
disagree with that because I think the black male is more
well,
educated.
no,
That's just my opinion.
let me go where I'm going with this, Sheila, because like I'm not slighting the black man because like they had to play the catch up on the education part. Okay, there were more women, you understand, going to, high school, graduating from high school, going from high school, you understand, and in college, than black men. That is a known fact
You know why?
because you understand it was planned that way because, like I said, when you grant the opportunity, you understand, to one side of the group, the other side got to suffer a little bit. Okay, and a lot of black men instead to say, I know this damn system don't really care about me, and really, as far as the educational thing, uh, I ain't really into. That's come a lot of people were in the streets hustling.
But you
Okay,
know what, too, Mr. Black? Y'all never talks about too how y'all had stood back and took care of the family when the mother didn't step up to the plate, the
oh,
older
oh, oh,
brother. And
oh,
then
oh.
you gotta realize the system was against y'all anyway because they have it. They could tell you be in prison by fifth or sixth grade. But so everything. Let me tell you something. It's designed for a black woman to get ahead of the black male, and that's
Wait,
why
wait,
I'm saying. Go ahead. I
see,
mean.
that's right, right. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It was designed for the
Good
black
morning,
woman to
Mr.
get in.
Professor.
It was designed for the black uh, woman to get ahead of the black man. It was designed, in the sense that she get that bachelor's, that master's, that PhD. But do you know something? And you got to go back and look at the percentages. You understand? A lot of the black women you dig that have gotten those degrees or whatever. Do you know something? They're not even working in the field. You dig that they've got the degrees in. A lot aren't, and yet they have a student loan debt. You understand? Which is kicking them in the ass. You dig? A lot in the sand. You dig? Well, I'll say half and half. How you want to put it? A lot of those women are not even working in the field that they got their degrees in. A lot of them are saying just one from out. Well, I got a PhD, I got a master's. But what is the benefit, you dig, of that document, that piece of paper? That's what I was trying to get to. Okay? And if you remember, you understand, check this out. Remember 9/11?
I was
Uh,
there.
okay. What year did that actually happen in? Do you know?
About 2000. Yeah.
Was it
Because
two,
I was in Jersey when that
or
happened.
was it 2000? I can't remember.
Yeah. It was like in
But
2000, 2001. Yeah.
but what I do remember you did during that time was this: President Bush, or Bush, who was then the president at that time, amidst all that was going on, he made this announcement. He said, regardless of what's happening, you dig how it's happening, we are not forgiving, you understand, any student debt loan. We understand are not, you understand, going to ignore the responsibility that all the students you did, which many were, black females, we're not going to forgive, any student debt loan. You got to pay that loan. And guess what? It was another trap. Do you understand that women in the some women are in their late 30s, early 40s, and some even in their 50s still trying to pay their student loan debt.
Yeah, but they're great. They're great past. They're gonna forgive it. Biden gonna do that. Believe me.
Well, something, I'm not going to say it till I see it happen. And like, and then again, you got to ask the question: how far back is Biden going to go?
And then they have it so that what you do every year, you just like if you don't can't pay it, it's a program that they put it back every year, so it won't mess up your credit or anything like that. Because majority
But
of them who have those degrees, they ain't even work in it, and majority of those degrees is useless. So now
right,
they got that big old student loan over their head.
yeah, yeah, and right, their usage you dig, and like, see, something that was one of the many constructs you dig that they have put in place you dig to kind of keep us,
In bondage.
right, you know, and like
financial oppression.
yeah, and like as a result of that though, see what I'm saying? Still, a lot of the educated women you dig are blowing their horn. You understand? Well, look, I got my degree. I got my degree. I got this. I got that. You understand? And they use it against you. Understand? At times, and I'm saying not all, but some. They use it. You dig against their own people.
What I have found out, I'm be honest, what I have found out that some, when they get in position, instead of looking out for others, they don't. A lot of people forget where they come from. And then a lot of people who have helped people and then smear their name when they recommend them to get a job and stuff. So, my opinion, I just said be careful of who you co-sign to get a job for, and know their working history and stuff. Because the end of the day is it's always a loophole in the system. And I always say it to everybody. Even when they made these bills and these laws and stuff, it's always a loophole in them. You can always get around them and you can always reverse it.
Uh, okay. Remember, you understand when you went on a Bunte's panel, and like you were talking, with the brothers up there,
Yes,
and y'all had a good stimulating conversation. But the question was asked: do black men and black women compete against each other? And I think on that panel that night, it was two women and three guys. And like when you asked the question, I guess the way the question was asked is, should they compete against each other, or do they compete against each other? And like you said, no, they should not compete against each other. All right, because uh, when black men and black women compete against each other, they're doing the dirty work you did, of the system, of trying to eliminate one or the other. You know what I'm saying?
they do.
Whereas, the other sister, what was her name? It was some Scott something. Taylor Scott. She said, sure. Uh, wait a minute, hold on. Did I get the name right? Or was it, I don't think it was Iron Verbal. Anyway, the sister said, oh, no, no, what's her name? Hot dog it.
Good morning, misunderstood.
Uh, what was her name? I couldn't think of her name, you understand? But um, you was trying to defend her because she said, right off the bat, hell yeah, you understand? Women should compete against men. If I can get the job, the hell with them. I got to feed my family, blah 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 blah. And like that's another construct you did that's there.
But be honest, I wasn't like I was saying. Like everybody had their own point of view. Everybody think different. Because if I think one way and she think another way, that not defend her. That's just her point of view. You got to realize, like some people don't think the same. Because of the way I think, I can't say that which how she think is wrong. Because in the day, if some people think about, I don't care who. I'm got to feed my family. I got to take care of my family. I got to do any means necessary to do it, where I know I've been in the field where they do use us against our male counters.
Well, you
And I
gave you went you
go
gave a
ahead.
good you gave a good example.
Because
You
I was in
said
that situation.
right, but you was in that situation and see, and that's a part of you did that you brought out the truth of the matter.
Hmm.
You said you weren't gonna let the system use you to make a more a competent man. You understand? In other words, do you know that you think he was more qualified to do that job than you were, and you said, hey, give it to that man. Whereas, some sisters would actually sit back and say, I deserve it more, even though they may not be, more qualified. Okay, here's what I'm saying. And yeah, people have their opinions, they have their thoughts, you dig. But see, something, that's what got us in this hole that
No,
we in.
I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying, but I'm
Well,
saying I just call out the bull crap when it comes to that because I ain't gonna mess with the middleman. I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna cut the head up on the top. You know what I'm
right, right.
saying?
In other words, you know. It's always going back to the house nigga and the field nigga. All right, always. And if you just modernize it as you want to, and you can just go it on, you understand, and coming up with it. Okay, but check this out though. I have a couple of questions that I want to ask you,
You can. All right.
and I just want to see how you respond to them. And like as we go on later on, you did, I must say, people, that this is not going to be a one-time video. This right here, you understand, is going to be, probably about 4, 5, 6 videos. We're just getting our, we're synchronizing, you dig, our rhythm, to bring it on. Okay. Let me ask you a question. Question number one: do black men and black women distrust each other?
Be honest. To go back to the individuals. That could be a yes or no. Go back to the individuals. And reason why I say that, you could have one woman who don't trust no man for one had done to her on her personal experience, and then also you could have one who really trusts a man because the experience she had in her lifetime, and then go back to the male. You could have one who had not lost all trust because what one or some did to him, and then you could have one who had totally trust because the experience he had not experienced nothing negative.
So what you're saying is, you said go back to the individual, all right? And I'm just talking about mainstream, all right? Uh, I want to say that we're using these terms in a general sense, but and we're not trying to sit back and individualize it because, like, uh, the question, you understand, is based on, do you actually see that black women and black men, do they have a distrust toward each other based on the representation that you've seen on different panels, different videos, uh, with the YouTube personality? Do they have a basic distrust toward each other?
I see a lot here. I'll be honest, on social media here on YouTube, but in real life, I don't. So
In
I
real
could
life?
say, yeah, um,
Uh,
I could say we have disagreements. We have, but take it to the point, burning the community down and this and that and all that other stuff. I don't know if for entertainment, for show, whatever. I don't hear that in real life.
well, you know something? I wasn't really hearing it in real life, but
Okay, well let's stick with here on YouTube. I see a lot of that on YouTube, on the
oh
YouTube stream.
no, no, because you know something? Sometimes people bring the baggage from real life to YouTube to dump it there. Okay, and like you got to understand that these people with their uh, communication expression, with how they sit back and word things, it's obviously something that they feel in real life. And like I think that there is a, a distrust between the black man and the black woman with certain people. I can't say all because you know something. I know some good, pristine black women, you dig, who would get behind that man, you understand, and be a soldier, for real, if that man proves himself to be a man. And I feel that, like, there are some women, you understand, who went through the trauma, you dig, of being deceived by a man, being hurt by a man, being abused by a man, um, who feel that, like, they can't let their guards down because they don't want to go through that pain no more. Then I see some, you dig, who have been through that pain and say, look, you know what? If I can't control the man, you I ain't gonna even be in a relationship. So I'm not gonna, I can't sugarcoat things. I got to sit back and look at it the way, because, like I said, we got to get to the blueprint of it, the dynamic of it. All right, these are issues that we can't be socially polite on, right? Uh, because individuals make the group.
I like how you saying that, Mr. Black, and that's what made. Don't get so caught up in the gender war because look what they're doing at the borders. Look what they're doing, gaslighting Koreans being threatened by blacks. I mean, it's like so much work need to be done within
Well,
us
well, that's what
that
we're doing now.
we can't focus on one. We are not the enemy towards each
Well,
other.
well, you know something? You're right. Well, you and I, we think that. We even, show that you dig in our outreach to other people. We don't try to condemn, you understand, all the things that be happening, you dig, on YouTube or even in real life. You know, we try to, talk against it. I know I do it in my daily life. I know you do it. Hey, I work with my grandchildren, my granddaughters, grandsons all the time. I like to create that better person, that better self. Okay, but what I'm getting at is, you understand, if we look, okay, you just brought up the Asian thing. Did you know you did that? Just last night, some guy in Atlanta, Georgia, you did went on a rampage, you understand, and he shot up, you understand. He shot up two of the massage spas, and he killed, you understand, eight Asian American women. Did you hear about that?
Was he black?
He did well. They showed a white guy.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. You talk about the border, you understand? They don't got so tricky. Uh, uh, well, they don't put the trickery down. They're like, the Mexicans, you dig. And like, I'm not saying that in a racist, way, but I'm saying it that you dig in a thoughtful American way. Here it is, you understand? They're sending the kids to the border, you dig. Overwhelming, you understand? You know, the border benefits. They're sending their kids there without their parents. And then they have, Mexicans, here in the United States say, oh, well, that's my relative, that's my son, that's this and that, just so they can get in. They have the coyotes, you understand, saying, okay, if you ever really want to get in America, you understand, you get there. But here's the thing about it, though. What is the purpose of them coming over here? Whose place are they going to take? What are they being groomed, you understand, to do?
You get some good points, and in the day is like I said, um, ain't nobody really focused on that. Nobody's saying that, so that's
But
like,
it's
go
it's,
ahead.
it's all part of the collective, though. See what I'm saying? Because like then these churches and these young girls come over there, they're going to take them and groom them and saying and like with the black man and black woman, understand? They're trying to phase us out slightly. 20 years from now, you think 20 years from now, can you imagine how the society is going to be? You know,
I can imagine. That's why I'm trying to build my little own little village. I'm gonna be honest.
well, what I'm saying is though, uh, I see some people on YouTube talking about the gender war. There should be more because of the ramifications you dig. It's like an octopus. The
You
bigger
know
the
what?
octopus,
Excuse me. Do you want me to open up the piano? If anybody have anything to say?
oh yeah, you could.
Okay. I'm gonna put the link down. If anybody would like to get on the panel and say anything, okay, I'll put it in there. Because at the end of the day, is this a big? This is not narrow. This is broad, and it's a lot of stuff need to be addressed or whatever. And like I said, at the end of the day, is no, we all not gonna get along, but we all have to respect one point of view. You know, the end of the day is it's bigger than a gender war. You know,
Uh,
And they're just using this little thing to get a sidetrack. And see, I always
uh,
look at the bigger picture.
you know something. I've been thinking about this alleged gender war. For some time now, and like coming into the months, I've really been thinking about it. You understand? And like I see, with the attitude, with the way that people think, the things that they say, how they say it, uh, what they express. I mean, it's like I was listening to a video you sent the other day.
Excuse me. Good
I think
morning, just and regular guy. And I know the panel, the war agenda is just bigger than an hour in the panel. And that's what we're gonna say. We're gonna make this at a series. But we also would like to hear other people's point of view also. Because you know what, each one teach one. And end of the day is not no um wrong or right answer. You know, everybody have a point of view. Good morning, Melvin. And if you want to come up and have your input, Melvin, you can get on the line, the on the panel, because it's right here, um, in the link. But me and Mr. Black, this was on our heart to talk about it. You know,
well to talk
and
about the truth of it. You
that's
know,
right, in the manner
see,
way.
I want to talk about the truth of it, Dick. And like I said, I want to get understand to the dynamic. I want to get to the blueprint, you dig, so we can come up with meaningful solutions. All right, not attitudes, not understand. Like I said, understand. Uh, Before you was writing others up, I've seen this brother you dig on the Lapeef show. He cut his sister off, you dig, because she was telling the truth about what had happened between the black man and the black woman, and why they had this wide diverse, approach to each other. And he said, "Well, look, I don't want to talk about that, you understand, because I'm a millionaire. I got my money. I'm doing myself, and all the people that I'm with, you understand, they doing it. They doing their better self, their best self. You dig? And like, why do we need to talk about that, you understand, when we could talk about being our best self? Here's the thing about it. We're talking about categories of people. We're talking about categories of individuals. We're talking about, you understand, some people that's gonna make it, some may, some gonna have to go, and choose a different path, to get ahead and to make it. The thing of it is something that must be discussed because the picture is so broad and so wide that look, men are talking about going to other countries just saying finding a woman. Women are talking about going down the diversity path. You did. It's just so many things. Like it's a large octopus with extremely long arms. And if you ever seen octopus in ocean, if the arms are so long, you understand, whatever you dig and feel out there, you understand, and whatever it touches, just gonna pull it to it, straight to the mouth, and destroy it. America can be like that. America can be like that, and if we don't, like I say, recognize the conditioning, the pathology, if we don't recognize, you know, just the mindset,
Right, right. And
yeah,
that's what it's all about, respecting one another. We know as a woman, we is not stronger than a man. We know that. And like I said, in the day is I just want my brother back in their respectful places, being ahead again, you know, because I know in the beginning we was made from y'all rib. And in the day is we not stronger than y'all. We never was made stronger, never made to be stronger than y'all. And we're to get to the point that we are so disrespectful and not appreciating y'all, and y'all not appreciating us, you know, because the end of the day is if you don't want to be with a black woman, it's fine. We still have to respect that other person point of view, you know.
hey, check this out. Remember what I said about behavior? It produces the byproducts you dig of cause and effect, actions, and consequences. And you know something? I'm gonna use this you dig that I heard Kevin Samuel say, which it makes all the sense in the world. Life do not owe us any understanding. You know, and like we gotta understand that. We gotta realize that because it's only us. We
Right.
gotta get rid. We gotta get rid of these mental games. We gotta get rid of these mental manipulations. We gotta get rid of, the fabric that has been placed in us these past 20 years, 25 years. Because you know something, if a person is not willing to admit you dig all the shit that has been, shoveled on us you dig for the past 25 years, they bullshitting and they're lying to themselves. You know,
Right.
a lot of stuff has been dumped on us,
Right. And good
and we
morning,
don't.
she and Melvin. Excuse me, Mr. Black. If y'all want to come on the panel, y'all can. And it is. It is. It have. And that's why I said, that's why black women, we have our fence ups. So to guard ourselves, because we've been through a lot, you know? So go ahead, Mr. Black.
We both have been through a lot. All right, I know you can say it from the female perspective, but I'm just saying it from the male perspective. We have been through a lot, and you know something, and we're still going through it. Because when brothers you did sit back and say, that a woman ain't shit, and that she's a bitch, she's a hoe, she's this, and she's that, and say it with meaning and sincere about that, and then okay, here's another thing. All right, like you said, it depends on the individual. I feel that it depends on the collective group. You understand how they choose to look at things. Right now, what I see, the black man, you understand, you did, some are starting to find a voice. They're starting to, to reveal and say the things that are hurting them. They're starting to sit back and, say how they look at things, you dig, and the way that they look at them, you know, and really, uh, you know, uh, some women, you dig, they open their eyes and say, he's right. Some are still being dismissive. You dig into their little game plan. Oh shit, he ain't talking about nothing. You understand? All I want is his money. Some are sitting back saying, "Hey, my V, you understand, is made out of gold, and that's all a man wants, just a V. So why should I listen to any other kind of nonsense?"
And that go for the guy to his community. Everybody around the whole community in different states that had his. So that both ways. And like I said, I'm gonna say it again. It go back to the individual. You have to respect yourself. You have to have morals. You have to have standards. You know, we could
Well,
play and joke around, but when to get to the point that we really had to stand on our standards and morals, because at the end of the day is we had to teach our kids. We had to teach the young generation and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a time for everything. We could play around, be serious or whatever. But the end of the day is we know what's happening to our people. And I know a lot want to leave the United States and everything. But the meanwhile, the black woman ain't no good, this and that, but yet you have daughters.
but you know something? If the fathers are thinking that about the mothers, what do you think they think about some of their daughters?
And just like the mother saying that to the brother, what you think is thinking about their sons. So
Well,
that go
see,
both ways.
but you know something? I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is, if we're going to put it out there, you did put it out there, you understand, and make it broad because, like, you know something?
Right.
Uh, I don't look. I don't want to sit back, you dig, and just say that it's all on the black woman. I have said that it's on both of us.
Yes. That's why I
Okay.
said go back to an individual. When you
Well,
say
it,
the
it, well,
individual
well,
is
well,
go ahead.
well, see, like I said, the individuals make the group.
Yes.
Okay, and if you get people who agree with like mind, there's one group, you understand, who believe, you understand, shit, I'm gonna chase the bag. There's another group, you understand, who believe, you understand, I want to I want to rehabilitate, you understand, our people, they can get them thinking right. There's another group. Then you have another group. Well, I'm gonna just, you understand, be only with the system, you dig, and back individuals, as you say. But like I say, they comprise, you understand, the collective.
Okay. Again. Okay, the group I be with, we into politics. We changing laws. We hold our elected officials accountable.
Hmm.
We help them. We see the do's and the don'ts. We know the problem. We hitting on the solution. Again,
Okay.
there's only a few doing that.
But look what you just said. Only a few. But go
Yeah,
on.
and then you have other ones who working with the youth and this and that. So everybody playing their part to a
No, no.
certain extent. So it's
Everybody
so.
is not playing their part. You know something? It is just a small minority that is
What I'm
playing their
saying,
part.
can I finish what I'm saying? So I'm saying everybody
Okay.
who have a heart and doing it, but it's still the ones who playing their part still not bigger and really can make an impact on the ones who's not. You know.
Uh-huh.
So when you
Yeah.
brainstorming and you come together and meeting at the meeting and doing this or whatever, some people just ain't gonna get it.
Good morning, Anthony. How you doing, brother?
Good morning,
Okay.
Anthony.
Check this out. I tell you what. Let's move on to another question because, see, you know something? We need more people up here in San to create that dialogue today, and to get it
Yeah.
going.
If anybody
Uh,
want again, if anybody want to come on the panel, have your input, you can. Again, I will
okay.
drop the link.
Do you think that black men and black women presently are playing the victim based on the trauma, based on what they went through? Do you feel that some of them are playing the victim?
Yes.
Okay. Can you go into it a little bit and tell me, what you're saying?
Okay. I would put it for example, someone who be getting in and out of jail, robbing, on drugs, oh, this and that. You've been doing this for 30, 40 years. For one thing, they have rehabilitation while you in jail. They have wraparound services, so when you get out, you have a place to stay. Also, they have you going to classes for your drugs. Also, they prepare you to get a job, and
Mhm.
if and also they give you assistance. The government help you. So if you want to be on track, you got the whole us taxpayer and the government behind you helping you. So that's no excuse. And then some do have excuses because they have mental problems and they just can't grasp onto reality. So my thing in America, we here in America is so spoiled and we don't take advantage. Some people don't take advantage of the things they have. And then the ones who do, they block them.
Okay. You get an example, you understand, of the
Yeah.
prison.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'm saying because
Wait a
even
minute. No, wait a
go ahead.
minute. You have never been to prison, right?
No, but can I say one more thing? I visit prison. I had
No. Have you ever been
a
to
woman
prison?
empowerment in prison. No.
Okay. Now let me say this then.
Good morning, DJ Chat it up.
It's still me. I forgot to take that off. How y'all doing? It's Anthony McNeil.
Good morning. I'm gonna be on
So,
mute.
salute, brother.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do music. I play several instruments and produce music and all the other stuff. That's my hobby. So every other day I do that on my channel. Uh, Besides that, on the topic, when you were saying something about the people in prison and getting the help that they need, that's not all prisons. You know that, right?
Yeah. You know something,
Okay,
brother.
thank you for
If you
correcting me.
know something, if you will, And I'm gonna tell you say though, right? I can only speak from experience because I have been in prison,
I
and
understand.
I seen what the rehabilitation model is in prison. Right? It
Yeah.
is not all prisons, you understand. And then,
Okay.
the emphasis you dig about rehabilitation, you understand, it's not about, you understand, uh, rehabilitation. It's about serving that prison term. Because,
Basically.
right, because once a person, you understand, has rehabilitated himself by doing the programs, getting the GED, taking the college courses, and when they go before, you understand, the parole board, or however they got to set up, you dig, in the system around the country, they tell them, hey, okay, you did that, you understand, but you forgot that you still got to serve, this time. And like that can demoralize individuals. I've seen it happen a whole lot of times.
Right.
Yeah, I know we got the taxpayers and all that behind us, but then they really give two fucks about it because out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
All right. So I mean, go on, brother. Bring a new perspective to this. You understand? Welcome to the panel.
Okay.
Let's get into it. Let's get into the
Yeah,
nuts and
get
bolts of it.
into it.
Okay. Okay. A couple of things. I want to piggyback off what you just said too.
All
You
right,
said
good.
one of the key words that actually, a lot of the brothers don't do is they don't pick up themselves. You know what I mean? The key there is to once they rehabilitate their mind and rehabilitate their self, then they can start moving on and growing on from there. You know, and then certain doors will be open for them, regardless of the situation in the hand that's happening. But that's a plus. But on the other hand, like you said too, in the prison system, you have a lot of the um, how can I put officials, the um, I hate using the word, you know, the good old boys and stuff that
And why
continue.
you ain't using the word? But that's a lot of times that's what it be. But the good old boys,
Oh,
they
Yeah,
can
get
we
together.
set resources?
No, call it what it is. And then you know something. See. That's the problem. We
No,
like
I was
to
saying
sit back.
resources like for things for them to get them put them on
Well,
their
well,
feet when they
well.
get
See,
out.
see, see. You want to put a pretty word or a politically correct word on something you dig that is really ugly. The good
You
old
had to
boys, you
realize
dig.
I'm a retired case manager.
Well, but hey, I'm a retired, you understand, guy that have been in the streets and all that old crap. But my point is though, is that like it's the good old boys club,
yeah.
you
I
know?
mean, it is what it is. And see, I'm
Yeah.
I'm with Sheila E. To a degree as well because I work for the United States Capitol Police. So,
Oh,
um,
okay.
yeah. No, don't do that, Mr. Black. I'm not that
Oh
dude.
no,
I'm
wait, hold on, wait a minute. Hold on,
no,
check this out.
it's the way you said, oh, like, it felt a little
Let me
funny.
clarify. Hey, check this out. In my walks of life, you understand, I've had several friends, and I even got some friends now that are policemen.
Cool.
Well, we could talk, we could stop, we could talk. You there?
Yeah,
Never about what he's doing, about what I'm doing, but about what men and sin think and share with each other. All
yeah,
right, and
I
that
got
makes all the difference in the world. Okay,
you. Yeah,
because like to be a policeman and to be a criminal, two different mindsets. You dig?
we still
Two
human
two,
beings.
huh?
Still human beings at the end of the day.
Hey, two opposing forces. You dig? And like
Yeah,
yeah. I mean like you got to recognize that. But then at the bottom, at the bottom of it, brother, at the bottom of it, you understand, we're human.
right.
And you know something? One thing I would say when I was in prison, you understand, one of the best things that they did was let black people start working in prisons as correction officers.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it alleviated, you understand, almost 70% of the problems that a lot of black young men you dig, or like a lot of black prisoners you dig, was having,
Right,
being in the good old boys system.
right.
And then a lot of those black correction officers, you dig, who came into the system, they realized, say, you know something, I'm looking at my brother, you understand, go through this anguish, through this abuse, through this punishment. And I don't, I can't really relate to it. And they used to always tell, some of, the more serious prisoners, hey, look, they doing this right here, man. Y'all, hey, man, I got some stories for you, you dig. Maybe later on down, the line, I'll get to that. But like, this right
Okay,
here,
let DJ
the
cut
gender
chop
war.
it up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I mean, now I come from the streets as well. Um,
Okay,
Only difference with me is when I come from a different background, but I've been around family that was pretty much in the streets, so I was in the streets as well, and I got in some trouble, before I turned 18. That made me want to change my life around, to a point that I didn't want to do any prison time. But I have done some things that I definitely thank God I ain't never got caught. But it's a point that I still was out there. You know what I mean?
okay,
Um, with that being said, again, I took the education that I had and I got into communications, and went from there. Still dibbling dabbling out the street at that time because sometimes it's hard to, be an element and be taken out of the element and still be, part of that element. It's hard to stay away from it. It's almost like drinking water. Um, I'm sorry, like drinking Kool-Aid, but you need to be drinking water.
okay.
Um, but I did do 30 days. That's about the highest I did.
Oh,
Again, hmm?
DJ, not to cut you off, but I want to bring you back to the original question that was asked of Sheila because we was just going off of her example of the prison thing, right?
Hmm.
The question was, all right, and regarding the gender war was, do you think that black men and black women play the victim? That was the question.
Okay. I didn't hit that part. When I came in the
Okay,
part
yeah.
of
All right.
the prison system. So my apologies.
Oh
Um,
no 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 no. I mean, hey, it's good that to express your thoughts because like go and finish what you were saying about what brought you up in a sense from out the speech you did to your current position and then just answer the question about do we play the
I,
victim? That's
I can
all.
stay on topic. I can stay on topic. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's, I would say there's a percentage there between the genders. I would say it's a percentage. You know, for one, because the ones that allowed themselves not to go out and get the things that they need or want, they tend to always be the ones who want to play the victim. I mean, if that makes sense. Again, I've been in the hood, I lived in the hood, from the hood,
Okay.
and I have seen both sides of you know of our culture and the go getters. Even the ones who was out on the block. They out there doing their thing because they going out. They say, look, I ain't trying to stay here and collect check and live off of this, live off of that. They go out and get their money. Now the right way or the wrong way, they still get out there trying to get it. Now, when they get caught, that's where it started to break down. Where they put it they put it in our neighborhood, and they did this and they did that. Okay, but it's still wrong. So if you're gonna be about it, put your step 10 toes down in it, accept your fate of what you did. I mean, right from wrong. But you can't blame the system if they put the stuff out there. It's not making they taking a gun, put it on the top of your head and say, "Hey, I need you to sell this." No, you want the car, you want this, and you want that. Instead of working a 9 to 5, you want to go out to the block to get it fast, quick, fast, in a hurry. But you can't sit there and cry once you get busted or somebody stick you up or rob you and blame it on the system or blame it on other people. That's your responsibility. You took your hand and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I mean, it just is what it is.
Okay.
But we do have a lot that don't want, again, to take full responsibility. So, yeah, I would say it's a higher percentage of, especially the males in that perspective, streetwise, that kind of, cry wolf a lot. And then for
Okay.
the females, um,
There you go.
I would say that dealing with some of these type of men and want to be with the, quote unquote, cool ass dude or this person that that's making this money and everything else, knowing that type of life is real fast. They have these children. They get they get this quick money, but then when that stuff goes down a toilet bowl, they wants to blame the system as well. And then when they have these kids that's having men that's in a system that's doing the stint, then they out here looking for the next quick thing before before they actually some of them get themselves together and start doing the right thing and teaching their children as they start to grow. But they have a big females have a bad habit too in our society and in our culture to use the system and blame it on the system on where their living status is at. And
True.
that's not. I mean, it's what they choose they self, but they're blaming other people from where they are is because of the system, not the fact that they going out there and try to work hard and get something done and elevate themselves. They have
Okay.
things hold them back is because of the system. And I mean, you do have blocks in a way with racism and other things, but in this day and time, you have a lot of other open doors that you can go out here and get stuff, and elevate yourself and climb ladder to get yourself where you want to be. I mean, it just is what it is.
Yeah, well, okay. You know something? And I don't want to, get you off your thought flow. The question that I had to ask you, and you just touched on it, is victimization, you understand, a real reality in the community, in the hood?
Okay.
Is it? Yeah.
I mean, I would say if we go back, yeah, I can see that. But as time now, it's not it's not as it's not as big. It's not you really can't push that on. I mean, you go back to like the '60s, '70s, and '80s where the Contra wars are still going on, and the wars down in Nicaragua is still going on, and the CIA was putting the dope out in the system, out in the street, New York and California, that's going out throughout the United States. Okay, yes, we was victimized, but how many generations has passed since then that we're not being forced to do that?
Right.
So how you become the victim?
Uh, you know, the honest brother, you understand that, like, something, you're really thinking about, what you're saying, and like, that's a good thing, you know. I honestly feel, you understand that, like, there's some things you dig in the system that actually prevent us from, being the best that we can be. But despite, those obstacles being there, we can be the best that we can be. All right. And like, I'm a good example of that, you understand? And I'm gonna go back to this prison thing because you know something? I got my college degree. I got my college degrees in prison, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
And when I got released from prison, you dig?
Mm-hmm.
I was forced, you understand, to go to a city that I had never been in. So I had to start where I stood. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And like my degree, you understand, was in culinary arts. Well, I got two degrees, culinary arts, you understand, and business technology. Okay.
Right.
Now, here's the thing about that. I had to start where I stood. The only thing I had, you dig? uh, on me was, my T-shirt and the sweatpants that I was released from prison, with, and like, I went to the city, you dig, and like, I had to go to Minute Man, and I had to go to everything else. But do you know something though? I started from the bottom, you understand? I raised from the
Hmm.
top.
Right.
Hold on, wait a minute. Let me tell you. I work, you understand, for the University of Cincinnati.
Hmm.
I work for the University of Xavier. I work for the Kentucky Derby. I work for the Cincinnati Bengals. I work for the Cincinnati Reds. Coming from prison,
That's
all right?
excellent.
Yes, but see, and this is why, I was asking the question you did about do we play the victim? However, now I'm gonna agree with Sheila when it says it comes to the individual. You know, it depends on what your motivational level is. It depends, you understand, on how determined you are. It depends on you dig whether you have the tenacity, you understand, to survive despite the odds.
I mean, right.
All right.
I mean, exactly.
Excuse me.
All right.
Good morning, She. Thank you for coming on the piano bar.
Hey,
Morning,
Shay.
But
morning, Sheila. How you doing, fellas?
how you doing, brother?
Good morning.
Okay. Well, since you know something, I know people get tired of hearing me talking, but like, uh, brother, the question was, understand, do the black man or black woman play, the victim in this gender war that we're having?
Like I said, to me, is still it's
Oh,
a percentage.
okay. I was talking about the new brother that just came on the
I'm sorry.
panel.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Shay.
Yes. In this gender war, I mean, to be honest, both sides play the victim. The men play the victim as the women not getting in line. And, my thing is when I hear guys say that about the women and for guys not to, have their stuff together, because be honest, a woman only gonna follow a man that has some type of direction and substance. How can you lead her? You're not even leading yourself, first of all. And
Correct.
then for and then for
True.
the woman, go ahead.
No, no, I said I was agreeing with you.
We
Go
was
on.
Okay.
agreeing with you.
Okay. And then for the woman as well, you know, she always talking about how all the men are in prison and all the men are not treating women right. But most of the women raise the men. Most of the
Yeah.
women end up holding the men accountable for their actions. It's a 50-50 slash double-edged sword because they want this perfect man, but they want to deal with another guy until they get ready to settle down. And all the older women, like, well, I'm gonna say all, but most of the older women, they're trying to teach the younger ones, and then most of the other older women are trying to tell the women, you know, live and be free and happy. That's just like I hear men tell young guys don't get married to their later years and experience life. I mean, you're giving the same information as a female would give a woman, but you'll shame a woman for saying a woman shouldn't live her best life at a young age. But you go and tell a young man don't get married to his later years and experience things. I mean, it's the same thing. It just worded different, you know?
Okay. So then, well, the original question that was asked, do black men and black women distrust each other? But you know something? You brought out a point. You dig about the older man and the older woman. You understand? Telling the young women and older man telling the young men to go out and enjoy your best life. Uh, is there black men and black women bitter, toward each other or against each other, or is it a behavioral thing? Is it an attitude thing? You know, check this out. Yeah, before anybody, I mean, before you respond, my brother, the one that's just speaking. What's your name, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. She.
Oh, she. Okay, okay. Here's what I want to ask, and I just express the purpose of having this conversation is because I want to get to the dynamics of it. I want to get to the
Excuse me,
blueprint
Mr.
of it.
Black. Good morning. We got Sister BB on here. Thank you, hon, for joining.
Okay,
She always
okay,
brings something to the plate.
okay. I want to get to the nuts and bolts of it. Okay, and not sugarcoat nothing. Say
You're right.
say what you feel. Express it how you feel it. You did, and then be open to a different way of thinking. All right, because that's what I'm trying to produce today. So go on, brother. that question is to you, brother She. Um, do you think, you understand, that like black men and black women are bitter toward each other?
Yes, they are because they both want. To me, I always put a lot of women in the category of being selfish because they want what they want. You know, me and my wife go through this when I tell her, she wants certain things, and I tell her, when time permits, she'll get it. And it's to the scale of she can't get it when she wants. She'll feel a little salty about it, but ultimately she know I'm not trying to hinder her from having what she wants. She understands it's not in the best interest right now, but she wants what she wants. Same thing as a male. When
Right.
men go through situations with the women, they feel as if they should get the best woman. They should have the nicest woman. Because we had a discussion with some guys and we were saying most of the educated guys, or that are well put together, have good little money, decent. A lot of women don't check for them because they don't have that spunk or I guess type of excitement as a rough guy would do. That's from the streets. Because
Hmm.
most guys are from the street. They carry themselves in a certain manner, talk in a certain manner, and some women they love that. But to the extent like I told the guys, I said those same two guys, they don't know anything about luxury cars like a Lamborghini, but it's the same thing referring to that woman. That's why both of those guys will want to drive a Lamborghini. It's not because of anything else, but the car looks good, and that's why both of those guys are chasing that same woman. And when one get them and the other one don't, you know, they have a reject. They resent the other gender for that. You know, why do you always like this guy? Why you don't like me and I make this money? Then you might have a guy that's from the streets and a woman is choosing him just easy, no problem. And that's why I tell guys, all men aren't built the same. All men aren't made, the same.
Okay. To the new member that just came up, you understand? What do you think about that? Black men and black women bitter toward each other.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Sheila E.
Good
Good
morning,
morning,
sis.
panel.
Morning.
Um, could you repeat that again? That the black woman and black man are what, or black man
Are,
and
are,
black woman are what to each other?
are they bitter toward each other?
Oh, please. Yes, and I'm older and I'm seeing more things now that I have ever seen in life. And to me, it hurts my heart, the bitterness that we have towards each other. And I just can't, it's just sad to me because it doesn't have to be.
Okay. Is that all you have to say?
I got
Is
more
that
to say, but I'm just gonna be quiet now and let you guys
Oh
go
no,
on
no, no,
with
no.
the
See,
flow.
no, you don't get a pass on that. You come
I
up here,
don't
you
get a
understand?
pass.
No, you do not
No
get a pass, you
pass.
understand? Because you got to, you understand, come with it, you dig? Because like, we got two interesting brothers that have came up, you dig? And they are, they're sending smoke, you dig? And then they're really telling, what they actually think and what they actually feel. But I tell you what though, well, no, you go on. What else do you
Well,
have to
I know
say?
we're out of order, and people would say, "What is that?" But we are, because
Uh-huh.
I do believe that the man is the lead, and you're right. We have to have something to lead us, which there are some men out there that are leaders. Um, But we are the what the some of but we are the women are out of control too. And we're not listening to one. They're no one wants to listen for guidance. They just want to live in this world and make it on their own.
Okay.
If you don't have the younger person listening to someone that has an experience, well, I wouldn't go down this road if I was you. And if they say, "Oh, you always saying something, blah 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 blah," I'm gonna go down this road anyway. What do you say? And you're telling them not to go down that road because of your experience, and you know that it may not turn out right, or you've seen other people experience. It may not look that good, but they choose to do that way anyway.
Amen.
So, as an elder, what are you supposed to do? Just sit back and watch?
Well, as an elder, you understand, you're supposed to sit back and dig and apply that wisdom and knowledge, because, like, You can communicate, understand, with a person one way, and if the person you understand don't agree with the way that you communicated that one thought, you do it another way, and then another. It's like the same things you do when you're. It's like when you're in the kitchen, you're trying to make a cake the right way, and like you make that cake, understand, but then you left an ingredient out of it. All right, and
Excuse
what
me.
happens? When you put it in an oven, the
I
cake
wanted to say,
rises up, and then go on.
So, Mr. Black, may I ask you a
Sheila.
question?
I just want to tell Sheila that Go Professor's backstage. He's in the back.
Okay, go on.
Is that Mr. Black?
Yes.
So what you're saying is that you just keep trying and just keep going forth, and sometimes the cake comes out well, and sometimes it doesn't.
Well,
But you
no.
don't give up. You just keep working at
Right. Well,
towards.
what I'm saying is, in order, you understand, to cook a good cake product, you understand, you got to put in the right ingredients, the correct
Excuse me, Mr.
ingredients.
Black. Somebody
Yes.
try to get on. I could see him, but it's not letting them get on.
All right.
Well, it must
No.
be his connection. He might have to go drop down and come back again.
Because I can have 10 people, but it's covering and the white is covering them, and he can't. It's only letting me put 5 on. I'm
I,
sorry. I don't know who's trying to come on.
I was going to say something, but I dropped down. Thank you,
Okay.
everybody.
You sure?
Yeah.
What?
Okay. Thank you. You have a blessed day. Thank you for your input. I appreciate it.
Oh man, we just getting started. But uh,
Good morning. Go Professor.
okay.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, Sheila Mama. Good morning. Good morning
Good
to everyone on
morning.
the panel.
How you doing, brother? Okay. Since you
Peace.
since you just coming up, you understand the question you did that was on the table. You understand? Um, uh, a black man and black women, you understand, bitter toward each other. That was the question that was being discussed.
Okay. Okay. Um, hmm. Okay, I'm gonna be as practical to this conversation as possible and in a short time because I have to go do a broadcast.
Okay.
Um, you guys hear air? Is that me?
Oh no, that's my heater.
Okay, how's that?
Your heater's on. Yeah.
How's that? You guys good?
Oh
Yeah,
no,
we
yeah,
good.
we
We can
good.
hear you.
We good.
Oh, let me turn it up, man. I gotta find the remote.
It seems like there's air.
No,
Go,
that ain't you,
go,
brother.
go, Professor. That's not you. That's someone else. You're
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I'm on mute.
okay. All right. Oh, uh, the question is, are we bitter towards each other, the black man and the black woman? Am I correct in that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Um, I believe that we do have issues with each other. We do. And that's because there's a lack of understanding of our historic position that has been implemented throughout the years. And the how we've transitioned up to now, and being that we live in a manufactured system society, it continues to give that uh, put that energy towards if we're going to say bitter, then it continues to push the bitter pill into our water glass, right? So because there was a time where we were moving in a positive way, but uh, things that be tend to uh, shift because there are so many dynamics that uh, push the capitalistic type energy towards uh, material comfort, if I may say that. So, how do you achieve that? Well, you keep uh, the bitterness in the unit. You keep the division in the unit. So, are we bitter towards each other? Uh, we could say that because we don't necessarily know each other like that. Remember, we wasn't set up to be together. It wasn't set up for us to be together. This is history, okay? And being that we weren't set up to be with each other, the uh, the unit has always had fractures in it. Okay, I hope that answers the question to a degree.
Uh, well, I just want to ask you one question real quick,
Go
okay?
ahead.
Because I want Sheila to respond to that, and then you brought up something that you brought up my next question. But uh, do you think that we should have been debriefed, after slavery, that we should have been, uh, because the trauma that we went through, which is what you're talking about, historically speaking. Do you feel that we should have been debriefed?
Well, we can delve into coulda, shoulda, woulda all day. Do I think we should have been uh, properly educated? Sure. Do I think we should have been properly financed? Sure. Do I think we should have been rendered our proper uh, land inheritance? Sure. But that wasn't the setup. Okay. Which the setup is continued now, on autopilot. Can we do better? Can we work towards putting ourselves in position? We've always done that, especially the black man. The black man has always been the epitome of what justice is. So, um, but when you have a system that is on autopilot, and uh, people whose desire to uphold that system, well, it continues on.
Exactly. I agree with that. What I meant by the brief is, what I'm saying is the leaders you dig, the power, the leaders were black. Well, we had a Marcus Garvey, we had a WBD, W. Du Bois, and all of them right there. I'm just saying, there could have been, more black leaders that had emerged, but like you said, we on autopilot, and like,
Yeah, but what happened to those leaders, though?
oh yeah,
What
something.
happened? What happened to those leaders that sprung up?
Well,
Now let's not add Malcolm and the known ones. What
well,
happened to the
brother.
ones that weren't known and they were standing up? What happened to them?
Actually, something. They were quiet. They were quieted down, and like they were shut down. And then some, you understand, they compromised. All right, because like I go back to Marcus Garvey. And, I don't even have to put Malcolm and Martin Luther in it. I go back to Marcus Garvey and say he was betrayed by his own people. All right, when he was trying to sit back and come with awareness and a new mindset. All
Well,
right,
hold on, brother. Let me give you pushback. Yes,
all right.
his own people, our people, was an issue, but there is such thing as something called meritorious manumission, and
Okay, what then?
uh, and there was already a plight against him. The
Yeah.
black people just added to that plight. They helped with that plight because we know that the FBI government already had an eye on him because he was bringing people together. So it was an agenda already.
Well, you're right, and like I'm aware of exactly what you're saying. Um, not to jump around, but I want to come and stand to Fred Hampton, right?
Okay.
I got a chance since then to look at the damn video that they made. It was poorly made, but you know something, a powerful black man, you dig, whether he's young or old, he can shake up the system, you know. And one thing you dig that like I took away from that movie when I saw it, and I'm talking, I've done a lot of research, a lot of study, and all that little shit, man, right? But check this out. I had no idea that Fred Hampton was only 21 years old when he was executed, by the Chicago police. 21. a young kid. They were scared to death of him. You know, another brother that was killed with him was like what, 23. So going back to what you said about the power of a black man, I concur with that. I agree. But anyway, let me move on real quick. Sheila, are the black man, black woman bitter toward each other?
Before Sheila answer, may I change my first initial answer to that?
Okay, go on.
As far as a black man and black woman being bitter towards each other, I kind of, as we were talking, I was changing my point of view to, I believe that we're bitter, but I think we lash out towards each other. I don't think the bitterness is hit on towards one another, but all the things that, well, even up until 2021, because it's still happening, even though people want to say it's not happening to the extent that it was in after the civil rights. I think that was the second one that started in the 60s.
Okay.
And you also made a comment that these people were very young. These people were very young that was out there in the front of it. What I believe is that some families were so hurt behind the situation, they rather just overlook it and ignore it instead, and didn't teach their children to recognize it,
Right.
even though they brought in the laws to stop all the overt stuff, but to recognize when it's done. Just see, you know something is happening, but you can't put your hand on it, and everybody's telling you that you're wrong. So when you have that opposition against you, you
Uh-huh.
do tend to shut down. And I think that's what happened. We are not as vocal as what we were in the 60s.
Well, wow, that's a good point because the first thing I was thinking about when you started coming on that, I was thinking about Tupac and what his mother, the great job that his mother did with him, and the thoughts that he had, in his head. You know, I mean that was actually what I was actually thinking.
I'm
But okay, go on.
Okay, I'm back. Good morning, Zero. Thanks for coming. What you were saying, Mr. Black?
I was asking you understand, is the black man, black woman bitter toward each other?
And remember, I was saying it go back to the individual because
Oh,
not
so
all black women, not all black males is bitter towards each other.
I want, well, something. I okay, I get that. I
You
wasn't
see
trying to
what I'm
say.
saying?
Oh, no, no, I know exactly what you're saying, and I'm saying you dig. I know that we have some good people out there. You understand? Some good men out there, some good women out there. All right, that are doing the doggone thing. But there is a problem that exists. Okay, and that's what I'm trying to get at. I mean, the good people. Majority wise or minority wise. I don't know how you want to put the percentages. You dig? But okay, if you want to leave it like that, okay, I'll go with
Reason
that.
why
But
I say that, Mr. Black, because
yeah,
at the end of the day is we treat people how we want to be treated, right? So if I have a bad day and I go outside and I treat everybody in my way, grumpy and stuff because I woke up on the side of the bed. I can't say because I had a bad day and now I should pass on my bad behavior or my experience to other people. Because sometimes you can. You could somebody could be joyful and then they encounter a person you done messed up their whole day because you done threw your baggage and your negativity on them. So again, that's why I go back to the individual.
okay,
Yes, we do have a problem, and yes, it can be solved, but yet it go back to the individual.
okay. Well, being that you brought that up, I'm gonna say this real quick, and I'm gonna ask my next question. Um, what I see you did on YouTube is like a lot of people, you understand, gaslighting other people. I see them tricking other people. I see them, you understand, stimulating you, that ignorant bone in them. That's come out, like I say, we got to go back to the collective, but okay, we cool with that. My next question is, you understand, and I'm coming back to the woman on the panel, you understand, uh, do we change the narratives, of how things are, or what we think, the way we feel about certain situations? Do we be intellectually honest with each other, or do we be intellectually dishonest with each other? And I'll send that to the sister that's on the panel.
BB, I'll let you go first.
My brother.
I'm here.
Okay.
You said repeat it again for me, please. I heard you, but sometimes it's hard for me to answer questions on the first note.
Okay. Do we change the narratives? Do we create narratives, understand, to defend our viewpoint? Are we intellectually honest with each other, or are we intellectually dishonest with each other?
I believe there's a lot of intellectually dishonesty that's going out there because we are into many people wants to sometimes people lower down their intellect because everybody's not at the same level in their intellect. Doesn't have to be if you're college educated. It's just your thought, views, what you experience in life that comes to bring you. So I think the reason why we may be more intellectually dishonest is because we're more of pleasing, crowd pleasing, and pleasing each other, and we will go along just to get along instead of just having that what we call today is the pushback, that pushback against you. Most people are not going to push forward and they're going to be dishonest. Uh,
Okay. Brother Shay, Shy,
Sheed. Well, you say
She,
Rashid. My name is Rashid.
Rashid. Okay, Rashid. Okay, go on. I got you now, Rashid.
All right, and pretty much the way I look at this stand, especially when it comes to YouTube, a lot of people like the echo chamber. When lot of people are talking the same narratives, talking about same issues, and you have a guy that comes in, just like the young lady BB said, it's the whole get along to get along thing. To the
Yeah,
point where if I say something I don't agree, but because I'm in your presence, I tend to agree because I don't want to, poke the bear. In
right.
most standings, when I'm on panels and I hear guys talk about relationships, and like I tell guys, I've been married 14, going on 15 years. And when I hear so many guys talk about being married as an issue, I'm like, why are we talking about things that you don't like? I gave a narrative of a situation between two men. I said, that's their business. Why should you promote and push so much towards that when you're focusing on the opposite sex? You know, uh, people, when it comes to certain issues and topics, I kind of look at men or, just this, what are we doing as men? Most of all, we should be standing on our square, talking from facts, and when guys are saying something that's wrong, hold them accountable. I had a young man on a panel we was on. He wanted to leave a wonderful woman due to the fact that all the guys were telling him how horrible men were. I mean, how horrible women were. To the issue was he thought that he'll never find happiness, even though he had one of the most wonderful women that was, different than all the other young women nowadays. Everything that he said that, I mean, all the things that the guys were talking about, she didn't do. but ultimately he thought she was gonna eventually change and be a different person. And I'm like, when that day comes, it comes. But by you sitting up here never trying out love, you'll never find it. That's and a
Yeah,
lot of guys they want to do that at a young age, hearing from other guys talking points to the issues. That's what I call it. That or their
yeah.
issues to the point where they don't want to get married. And I'm like, just because this man was dealt the bad card or, kind of dealt with a girl that kind of treated him wrong, don't put this whole thing as one size fit all because that's not the narrative. If you try and understand and it don't work, that's fine. Just I don't want to be married. But if you never try, how can you experience what the other side is going to be?
Right, right. Sheila.
Um, that's a good one. I'm a the do's and don'ts. I'm gonna start off with the people pleaser, which is a people pleaser is gonna follow the crowd. They don't want to take responsibility. They don't want to address the issue. They're not concerned about the issue because it's not affecting them and their household. They don't want to take that responsibility. They're selfish. They don't care what happened to anybody else, long as it's not towards them and their family. They're comfortable where they're at, and they don't want to come out their comfortable zone. So that's for the ones who don't care, don't want to make a change. For what? Some people, some just have this mindset. It didn't change um, back then when we came over here. They used Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Al Sharp, different ones. Nothing going to change. It's going to be the same old thing. Why should I be out there fighting for people who don't want to fight for themselves and don't want to do better? And then you have the ones who we do care. We do hold people accountable. We're not going with the people pleaser. We're going to have to stand alone. If we had to address things, we had to address it when we are the only ones speaking in the room. We are leaders. We care about what's happening. We see the solutions, we address the issue, and we try to make a change. We don't just talk it, we do action and we live it. And it's not an easy job. Let me tell you something. When you walk in this walk, believe me, you will be respected, you will not be liked. You will put your family at risk, you will put your job at risk. But still, you know all this and you still stand for what's true and what's honest because it's not about you, it's not about your family, it's about us as a people. Until we
Okay,
have more of those people, the whole people accountable and be transparent and
okay,
address things when it's not right. Because we know these days is this saying right is um, wrong is right and right is wrong. So when we stand for what's true and honest and holding people accountable, no, it's not going to be easy. You're not going to be liked. If you had to stand by, sometimes you're going to have to stand alone because you know the crowd's going for what's wrong, what I could get, more money, whatever, materialistic things, but you stand on what's true and right because at the end of the day, when you close your eyes and go to bed, you know you did everything that went right by the rules and you could sleep a peaceful sleep. So that's just my point of view.
okay.
And I,
Just to comment, you did on that real quick. I think you understand that a lot of people you understand on YouTube and even in real life understand they do create narratives understand that benefits you their viewpoint.
Excuse me,
Uh,
Mr. Black. Good morning. It's Keto. Thank you for coming. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think that you see it mostly on YouTube. You know when men and women are talking to each other, and like some women have a tendency and a habit, you understand, to never uh, to never answer a direct question when it's asked. They always you understand create another narrative or another question on top of the question that's asked. I think that hinders you dig a lot of real meaningful communication. Likewise, brothers understand. Um, uh, Sometimes can be very straightforward. And then sometimes they create a narrative, you understand, when they get stuck on a point, and that narrative benefits you dig them getting out of that point that they're stuck on. So I think that hinders communication too. I think that like for instance, you dig every time I hear a brother say something about the woman. The first thing that the woman do instead of responding to the thing that's brought up, they say, well, a man do it too. A man do it, so both of them do it. And they go that that tired, worn out narrative because like if we're always going to have a vice versa in terms of how we communicate, we ain't gonna get nowhere. We ain't gonna get nowhere, and that's the fundamental dysfunction that I see in a lot of communication on YouTube as well as with some people out of real life. You did, and like those narratives, you understand, are really toxic, to us because some of them are defensive, some of them you dig are demeaning, some of those narratives you dig are meant to to poison understanding, comprehension, and like
Mr.
uh
Black,
yes,
I want to go back to what you said earlier when you said you was doing your research. Was it
yeah,
you that said that you was doing your research about Fred Hampton?
yes.
Yeah, and
What,
when you
I wasn't as exactly doing the research. I was
no, but I want to make a point. What you said when you talked about his age.
yeah.
A lot of these leaders are young, and what I'm seeing now, I'm seeing the people that are their age now.
Hmm.
And the people that are 21 and 22, they wanted us to lead. But these people started leading at a very young age. And if you look back at all the history at that time, in any movement, these people started off very young
Yes.
and have been doing this and working on this for years. I'm just looking at who is in the forefront of us right now. Who got that limelight right now? It is some young people involved, but, and I hate to bring this up because a lot of people get angry about it, but it's the truth. Do we have a lot of straight people, both men and women, standing out there in front of the Black community?
No, we don't. No, we don't.
And that's what we need to work towards. But these were young people. So how do these people they seen what was going on. Because it was at that time there was a lot of student movements going on that was very
Yes.
powerful. There was a lot of student groups involved in all of this that was going on.
Yes.
But I'm just looking at the dynamic of who is out in the forefront of our leadership. And uh, there's two things. Is they're the leadership is still being pushed on older people that should be retired. I'm not saying retired, but retired from being in the forefront and being more in the background, showing the younger youth
Hmm.
what it is to how these movements get evolved and evolve, and how to lead them.
Um, you know
Can I
something?
speak on?
Go on. I'll let you speak.
Well, I wanted to say this. When it comes to a lot of those younger kids trying to lead, there's few, but they get a lot of pushback nowadays due to the narrative being pushed. You know, just like the Fred Hammond and all those younger guys, that even were in the Black Panthers. There's a lot of people, I mean, a lot of young guys and a lot of young women that are still being in the society trying to make something of the community, but they get a lot of pushback nowadays from the rhetoric because as it stands, social media is the block with this next generation from them developing. A lot of people can take social media and use it in a positive way to make money, to help people out, to push issues at hand. But then social media always is used for the flash, the way of making money with the women and men too with their bodies versus using it for marketing and things of that nature. And I know a lot of people give pushback to the younger generation because all we see is the worst of the worst because the narrative of the great ones never gets shown. You know,
So
even with
too,
Tupac
T.
at a young age, Tupac at a young age was was more into even with his stepdad, with him in prison. They were doing the whole rules before he started doing the gangster rap, and the whole
Yeah,
thing was to go into the community. And only way you can get into the community is basically on their level. If I talk to you like a gangster, be like a gangster, you're gonna say, okay, well, this guy's a gangster. Well, maybe I can change my life the way he changed his life. But if when Tupac was talking about Brenda had a baby, wasn't nobody trying to listen to his music hardly until he went gangster. But
yeah,
then his message got lost, because it's just like an actor. Some actors that have done parts, they got so deep into the part, they start living it in real life. And a lot of people portrayed, these things to the point where they want to live it in real life to the extent like a lot of young people, they they look at the elders as leaders, but when it's time for them to step up, I mean, I don't understand. And not all, but a lot of them just don't have that push. Like with me, I was a young man. My parents died at a young age, and I was forced to grow up very young. I've always kept a job. I've always, I did my dirt and I did things, but I've always had tried to hold myself to a high regard when nobody else did. I had to, you know, push myself to be better when nobody else wasn't. A lot of people don't have that what's the name? I'm lost on words right now. But pretty much just self motivation.
yes,
Okay, I'm like knowledge of self. When you
Right.
have a knowledge of yourself, you walk in a different purpose. You know, you go the other way when guys want to go rob a bank, and you go towards things that you need to do to better yourself. Sometimes you might be in a situation of robbing a bank, but that hinders your spirit. But eventually you're going to elevate yourself bigger than that. And a lot of people don't have just knowledge of self. All they know is what people tell them. That's the narrative. No, people like a lot of these younger kids and even older adults don't know how to think for themselves. That's why
exactly,
marketing is so good, you know, in this society right now, because the sheep are following the herd.
Right.
hey, check this out. Oh boy, you know something? This is a good thing because we're talking about the cancel culture, and like first, to answer BB's question, there's a disconnect, all right, with our youth, all right, uh, and the difference is like a Fred Hampton between a Fred Hampton and some of the youth today, um, they didn't have the distraction, of the internet or the media. They was getting things and saying directly, from the grassroots, and like they were made to understand and feel the anguish, of what the black people was going through. With our youth today, you understand the media, man, is pushing so much information at them that they don't know how to filter, a lot of the stuff that they're listening to or what have you, and like that you did, is causing a great problem. But then uh, for the elders, all right, some don't know how to be elders because some you did really have never really grew up to be men. How can you be something that you never was? How can you even help someone that yet you'll never help yourself?
Mr. Black, can
Yeah,
I say something?
yeah,
Um, you always hear that saying, how can you be a leader if you never was a follower?
right,
And well, we have realized a couple of decades ago that when social media wasn't really that popular in the 80s, that mentor kids, take them under your wing. and teach them because they knew that we was going to be the next generation. So our pastors and our ministers and our evangelists, they was training us. They took us under their wings, and they taught us different things. And back then it was groundwork. It wasn't social media or whatever. But now that's still in me. And we don't have that today, really. We don't really have people really taking these young people under their wings and teaching them. Because you got to realize a lot of young mothers had kids at 13, 14. How are
Yeah,
you going to teach a child and you a child yourself?
yeah,
And a lot of people feel that they have raised their kids. I don't need that hassle. I don't need that, headache and stuff like that. But the end of the day is each one teach one. When I see no girls outside twerking and all that stuff, and I said, what can I do so they could be effective? Take that dance in a positive way. What I did was I came up with a praise team. Every Saturday, and I bought every outfit, praise shoes, everything, gospel music. Every weekend, instead of them twerking outside in the parking lot in the street, they were doing praise dance in the nursing home for elderly.
and you know something. Um, I believe that I used to understand are very intelligent. You dig, and like regardless of the many talented things that's performed, they really do want guidance. They really do want a sense of direction. They really do want a sense of purpose. But
They,
like
they do.
right, but see, it's some of uh, the older people that's actually afraid to approach them. Why? Because some of these young kids you did got powerful weapons. Some of them understand. Well, sit back and tell you, hey, get the fuck out my face. I don't want to hear that shit, old bitch, old man. You know, they'll tell you that in a heartbeat. And like some people are actually afraid, to approach them.
But
And
you know what you do?
hold
See,
on, hold
you
on.
get a relationship with them.
Oh well,
Okay.
well,
I, that,
well,
Go ahead.
well. What I was saying is, I was thinking about Chicago, you understand, and the number of young kids that has been killed in that city since 2010 and coming up, and they have no problem with shooting and killing each other because that's what they've selected to respond to. You can build a relationship with kids if they want that relationship. But if they,
To go
are the
back to
hard
the
nose,
individual.
well, no, if they the hard nose, if they the hard ass, you can't impact them. It's different types gotta be able to impact different types. Gang leaders, they can impact other gang members. All right, because they know the path that they've traveled down.
You know what,
You
Mr.
know,
Black? I'm gonna ask you a question. Why do you think the young guys and girls, because they forget they have female gangs too. Why do you think they participate in the games and join the gangs?
because there's a disconnection at home,
And what else?
a disconnection at home. You understand? Uh,
I
uh,
I could tell
uh,
you a few.
uh, what? And I was going to say peer pressure. Uh, there's something.
Okay, go ahead, she. Okay, wait, Mr. Black. Go ahead, she.
Well,
Damn, you
a
just
lot
cut me
of
off. But go on.
go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, no, go on. Go on, she.
Go
I'm
ahead,
not done.
she.
No, go on, brother.
Oh, I'm sorry. A lot of the young kids, it evolves around mainly just leadership. You know, my brother, he was subject to being in the gang at a young age because when my father passed, my brother was dealing with a lot of things and to the issues that he thought that going into a gang was, the best way to him to escape, you know, some type of discipline from my mom and with my father not being there to correct his behavior, you know, and guys that were on the street, it was the more the fame of the money and this guy trying to show him to, make money and be a man at the same time. And a lot of
Mhm.
kids got brought into that type of situation. It's just like with the guys in Chicago. If you show these guys how to make money outside of that, and they show them how, having a plumbing job is some work, but you can make a good amount of money. You can have you a nice car and all this. A lot of guys will go for it, but you got to understand, it's like a clay mold. A lot of guys would know they're just a block of clay, not even molded. And
Mhm.
that's what a lot of those gang members and everybody do. They come in there, they mold them in which they want them to become this type of man. Because you have a lot of cold hard killers out there that they've been molded that way. Nobody grows up, in the world and just wants to be a cold killer. They had a guy that was in New Orleans. The guy was like, I think 14 or 15 years old when they caught him. They said this
Mhm.
guy been murdering people ever since he was like 9 years old,
Yeah.
like literally nine. And when they finally caught him, it was so many murders that he got caught up in. His name was in the murders because of his street name. They kept saying the young guy, height, everything, all described this man as he was growing up, but they never caught him. He was so swift about what he did, and to the point when they finally caught him, it was more of a relief for him because he got out of that life.
You know something? Uh, I'm glad you brought that up because there was a young girl in San Kia, and she was only like 13, 14, 15. She had some like 13 bodies upon her, and like she didn't get a chance to get out that life because they shot her down. You know?
BB, would you like to say something?
Well, I did unmute it, but I had muted my mic back up. Well, what I know a lot of people is against this because they haven't been taught this. But I believe the disconnection is with God and not with no higher power, but with the highest power. And that could come in any form of religion, because there's nothing higher than the highest power. And a lot of people are not listening to this. And I think the religious piece about that, the people we have allowed that to fail because of non-believers. And don't get me wrong, just because you have that connection doesn't mean that you don't go through certain life things that may not be according to what, like the killings or the things, because it's a lot of religious people that do some things that is in contradiction of what you would think will be a higher being or God. So yes, it's a lot of work that has to be done. Only thing that what I do in my part, I just pray and move on. I'm not the type that go around and not go into churches a lot, but I do believe in that faith that I have. And we are, and it is taken out everywhere. Every time that when we were growing up in school, regardless if it was believed or not, we prayed in school, um, every day. And it didn't have to be a religious school. Even when you
Right.
said a prayer leaders, you were mentioning God was being mentioned. And it's not in the homes like it should be. And um, it's not nowhere. And it's told to not to believe, to only believe on you. You have the power to do it by yourself. You could do it. You got the strength. And I believe no one has that much power. When people become powerful, it's always with a big organization. Somehow they're a group. And I'm not talking about on the celebrity status wise. I'm talking about me, myself, and whoever lives this life that I live that is not on a celebrity status. I work every day, and I'm still working now, trying to retire out of it. How do we how do we how do we how do we get into our youth that our lives need to be valued and protected, and we shouldn't, because it's been taught, and I taught this. I had a history teacher that taught me in class many years ago. This is in the 90s when he was saying that it's nothing to kill a nigga. And I don't even like using that word. So we don't feel nothing about us. I'm not talking about those that care. I'm talking about those that we're seeing. It's easy. It's so easy to torment a black woman and torment and kill a black man than you will speak up to someone on your job that's discriminating against you. And some of these people don't have jobs. They don't understand of employment, so they're going to seek out some type of ways of earning some income, whether is formal, non-formal, or illegal. So there's a lot of things that we are up against. So who's, like I said, so it's nothing to take a black man's life. And I'm not saying this in a mean way. I'm talking about this thought process. It's nothing um, to tear down a black woman and even take her life now. But when we look at society as everybody, if you even look at even in the law enforcement, how many black officers do you see that is ready to release that bullet on a white suspect?
Mm,
Well, when it comes to
that's
a black person, it doesn't matter what race it could be, that will kill each other. So why is that so prevalent that it's nothing to kill us with anybody? Everybody targeted us as far as looking at our life as not valuable.
okay. And that is true. And that's why I asked the question, why do you think these young girls and boys join these gangs? For once, I sat and talked to them and I want to know, you know, um, for one thing, they want to be a part of something. And the gang member always said, we family. We have each other back. If one die, we all gonna die. We all gonna take up a check. And the gang, one thing about if you ever sit down and really talk to an organized gang member, they will organize. They got structure and everything. If you would take the gang at it, it's like okay, like a household. Majority of people I know who any gangs don't have that strong family structure. And some of them do, and some of them don't. Some kids want to be just a part of something, whatever. And that's why a lot of them join the gangs. They have each other back. They have a code. You don't cross each other. No snitching. No telling. And they organize. And that's why I said when you get down, really, you talk to some of these kids and you look at their household, majority mothers in prison or father in prison, in jail on drugs, coming from the inner city. They don't have no home structure. They're not in school. Some of them selling drugs so they feed their brothers and sisters. If you really go out there and do the groundwork and really talk to majority kids in inner city, and you open up their house, if they open up their house door and you talk to their parents, it will blow your mind. And that's why I always say, how can we get to the root of the problem? It start with the parents.
Yeah, the hand, you understand, the rocks the cradle leads the world. Uh, I'm make this last comment. Wow,
Okay, thank
we
you.
don't wait 2 hours, you understand, and 25 minutes. Hey, check this out. I want to respond to something that Bibi said, and like She makes a good point in saying that a black life don't really mean anything because the police killers, black crime killers, and all that right there. I remember, you understand, coming across a news report. Uh, it just happened, you understand, a couple of days ago in Annapolis. There was this deranged brother, you understand, who went to his baby mama's house. She had one kid by her, but she had, I think it was two kids um, um, that she had. And he came to her and he told her, he said, "Hey, look, I want half of that stimulus check that you're getting, all right, which was probably 1,400, or uh, I guess if you claim the kids, it was probably what 3,000. They get 3,000 per child. I guess the total amount of money she was giving is something like $7,400. Okay, he said in the sense that he wanted half of it. All right, and he raised this fuss with her about that, and she told him no. Um, I'm not going to give you, the money because uh, I went out and I worked hard to take care, of my kids. I went and worked hard, you understand, to make sure that we had food on the table, a roof over our head, and you ain't did nothing. Only thing, you've been doing is, you just been, drifting, through society. So this brother, he said, okay. He said, I'm telling you, I want half of it. So he left, and later on the day, he come back, and he looked at the woman, you understand, and she had called her brothers them over there, to kind of slow him down a little bit with the bullshit. And he gave her, a mean, hostile look. He leave again. And, the woman, in between him coming the first time and the second time, she said, well, look, I'll give you $450, but that's all I'm going to give you. He told her, no, I want half of it. So the final time that he came back, you know, she let him in the house, she did, and he told her, you understand, look, I want half of that money. And I guess he was showing he was showing his ass, you dig, about getting his half of the money or what he thought he had coming to him. Well, when she told him no, and then her brother, he jumped and said, "Nah, man, my sister ain't gonna give you no money, man. You don't have no money coming. That's the money that she earned, you know." And he pulled out his pistol. He shot the brother. He shot his woman. He shot a cousin that was standing there too, because he also protested, about him getting half of the money. He shot him, and he shot, the other child, her daughter. He took the baby that he had by her, and he left. He went outside, you understand, and I don't know what made him turn around. He come back, go upstairs, and I guess he was looking for the money. He come back down. He shoot the brother again because it seemed that the brother was still moving. He killed all four of them people. He left, you understand, and he took his daughter with him, which was a baby, well, a baby girl. I don't know, probably about two or three. And her sister came over there after she heard the gunshots, and she found all of them dead. And this dude, you understand, he went, on the run. He did. He was on the run for a couple of hours. They found him hiding up in the attic, you know, and they caught him. The baby was all right because he very well could have, killed the baby because he was in a deranged state. And see, this is the kind of bipolar character that you know some brothers should be called out on because that was selfish, that was greed, irresponsibility. The woman was scared to death of him, and he knew it. You know, and four lives um, taken. It didn't matter. And the thing about it, he never got, you understand, you know, the money or even half of it. So a black life, understand, really has no value to some individuals out there. And like what Brother Rashid said, there are killers out there all across the country. The guys that are doing the drive-bys that are killing, the blacks and what have you, on top of the police and all that right there. Hey, look, on that note, man, something, I didn't even get to the major bulk of my question, but on that note, you understand, Sheila, you want to shut it down and then we come again?
Yeah, I'm gonna be last to say something. BB, you want to say something, and then I'm gonna go to she.
Sheila, thank you for inviting me up. This has been a pleasure with the panel today, and I really do appreciate it. And we really do need to have more discussions like this. So thank you for having that opportunity out there for us this morning. Thank you.
And you welcome. My pleasure for you coming up. And 12. Good morning. I see you in the chat. And she, your last words.
Oh, wow, we missed her, huh?
You said I can go?
Yes.
Okay. Well, basically, it's always been a pleasure, Sheila, dealing with you and your panel. You have well discussed topics that we can actually relate for the community, just in general. And like I always tell the young men, I'm married. Marriage is not a bad thing. You just have to, proceed with a woman ultimately that you guys can grow with each other and have an understanding. Because I tell guys when it comes to arranged marriages, those people don't know each other, but the one thing they have in common, they respect each other. You know,
Yes.
and if you have respect for one another, it goes a long way. And that's just in a relationship, without a relationship, just being friends. And this whole situation that we have with the elders, to where a lot of young guys don't respect the elders and the women as well. But it's to the point, if you getting misguided or getting bad information from one elder, that's pretty much your fault. Thinking that all people are built the same. I mean, my term is to deal with at least 5 to 10 elders. All of them
Yeah,
can't be giving you bad information. I wouldn't put all my eggs in one basket. I love my grandmother, I love my great grandmother, something like that. But to the extent where if I'm not learning anything from them, why would I let them still guide me? I mean, that's just being respectful to a point when you get older, you know right from wrong. And to sit here and be guided through a person that's giving you bad information, I'm not going. I'm just gonna say one real quick thing. There was a guy. He said that his friend father was trying to get him a job that at the city where he worked at, and his friend said that the dad worked there for 30 years and was telling him he'll get him a job for the city. And the guy told his dad, "No, I'm not getting a job there." And the most disrespectful thing came out of his mouth when this guy was like about 18 or 19, but he told him, he said, "Dad, you don't have a house, you don't have a car, you don't have nothing, but yet you at a job all these years and you haven't done anything. So why would I want to go and do the same thing you're doing if you're not elevating yourself?" And I'm done with that.
good point.
Yeah, and I just want to say I want to thank y'all again for getting on the panel, and I really want to make the real sector where we talk about real issues with real people and real problems and try to discuss them So the ones who have a link, just put your channel in the link. And I want to support each other. That's what me and Mr. Black was saying. Like she, when you go live, we all go over there. When Mr. Black go live, we all go there. We need to just support one another. And that's what it's all about. Because there's a lot of negativity on the YouTube streets and the ones who positive and we want, yeah, we have fun and everything. It's all right to have fun, but really talk about real issues and real life situations. We really need this on the YouTube streets. And I want to start with the real sector.
Okay. One other thing that I want to say is that like there's going to be, understand, a second video, probably a third, and even a fourth. So, brother Rashid or BB, if y'all want to come back up again, you understand, we can still chop it up. You dig again. But like I said, we didn't even got through half of the questions that I want to ask you, dig. And like anytime you're talking about something good, you can always you dig go into other areas. And that's what I say. This is a big octopus, with long, limbs, and like sometimes it can be painful. Sometimes it can be, thought provoking. You dig, well, you ask yourself, am I doing enough? Am I saying enough? You know? And I like how BB kind of, um, she'll say one thing and then she'll come back and say, hold on, let me change that because she's thinking. And that's what this is all about, you understand, and get down and get to the blueprint of it, the dynamic of it, the fabric of it, because once you get to the root of things, you dig, you pull that root up out of there and you cut it off. You understand? If it wasn't growing anything, you cut it off, you dig, and plant it back, you dig, so some, can grow it. You know how you do it with vegetables, you know. But on that note, though, I thank y'all for coming. Sheila, it's all good. I always love. I'm gonna jump off here. You understand? And like, hopefully, you understand within the next couple of days, you dig, we can have this panel again. Uh, um, um, I mean, on my channel. If not, then we come back to the Sheilas. And we can do it. Uh,
You could.
huh?
I was gonna say, could you drop your link or what's the name of your channel?
Alan Walker, Mr. Black.
Yes, and everybody had their link in there, and we just sub to each other. Let's start supporting each other. That's what it's all about. And
Okay.
we could start here.
Yeah, my channel is my name, Alan Walker, Mr. Black. I ain't been live in about a week or two, a couple of weeks because uh, 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 I've been doing other things. And actually, you know something, me and Sheila's kind of late, you dig, on this gender war thing because we supposed to get that done way last Friday, but things kept on coming
Right,
up, you
right.
know. So this right here was spur of the moment. And brother Rashid, you know something, uh, I got on my channel, you dig, if you subscribe, you go on. I did a 5 point video series on, this is what a man is. You know, you might find it interesting. If you had the time to go through and look at some of my videos. On that note, salute everybody. I'm getting up off of here. I'm out of Sheila.
Okay, everybody, thank you for coming. I'm out, and God bless, and thank y'all for coming. Bye bye.
All right.
Bye bye. And thanks, BB, for being on the panel.